Before the sun rises over the ancient hills, a city of stone and memory waits in silence. A place where faith, conquest, prophecy, and empire have all left their mark. This is Jerusalem, a city not merely built by human hands, but shaped by centuries of belief, conflict, devotion, and endurance. Long before it became sacred to billions, before pilgrims crossed deserts to reach it, before kings fought to possess it, Jerusalem was a small settlement perched on a rugged ridge between valleys. Natural springs flowed nearby, and limestone hills provided both shelter and defense. Archaeological evidence suggests that people lived here as early as the 4th millennium BCE. Even then, the land held strategic value. Positioned between Africa, Asia, and Europe, it lay along ancient trade routes that connected civilizations. To understand Jerusalem is to travel backward through time, through layers of dust, stone, and story. Jerusalem was not born great. It became great across ages. In the Bronze Age, the city was known as Urushalim, likely meaning foundation of Shalem, a Canaanite deity associated with dusk and peace. Clay tablets discovered in Egypt, known as the Amarna letters, mention its ruler in the 14th century BCE, describing a small but fortified city-state navigating rival powers. Even at this early stage, Jerusalem was already a place of diplomacy, tension, and survival. By around 1000 BCE, according to biblical tradition and historical interpretation, King David captured the city and made it the capital of his kingdom. Under his rule, Jerusalem transformed from a hilltop stronghold into a political and spiritual center. His son, King Solomon, would further elevate its status by constructing the first temple, a monumental sanctuary that became the heart of Jewish worship. Stone walls rose, priests gathered, pilgrims traveled. Jerusalem became not just a capital, but a sacred axis of faith. Yet the city's story has never been one of uninterrupted glory. In 586 BCE, Babylonian forces under King Nebuchadnezzar II besieged Jerusalem. The city fell. The temple was destroyed. Much of the population was exiled to Babylon. Smoke rose where prayers once echoed. It was one of the first great devastations in Jerusalem's long history, and not the last. But Jerusalem has always possessed a strange resilience. It does not remain fallen. When the Persian Empire conquered Babylon decades later, the exiled people were allowed to return. The temple was rebuilt. Life resumed. Markets reopened. Priests resumed rituals. Families replanted vineyards on the surrounding slopes. The city breathed again. Then came the Greeks. In the 4th century BCE, Alexander the Great swept across the Near East, bringing Hellenistic culture with him. After his death, Jerusalem fell under the rule of rival Greek dynasties. Greek language, philosophy, and architecture influenced daily life. Tensions grew between traditional religious communities and those embracing foreign customs. These tensions eventually erupted into revolt. In 167 BCE, the Maccabean Revolt began, a Jewish uprising against Seleucid rule. Against overwhelming odds, the rebels succeeded. Jerusalem was reclaimed. The temple was purified and rededicated, an event still commemorated today during Hanukkah. Once again, the city had endured conquest and reclaimed identity. But empire never stays away for long. In 63 BCE, Roman general Pompey entered Jerusalem. Roman banners replaced local standards. The city became part of the vast Roman Empire, governed by imperial authority. Roads were paved, fortresses strengthened, taxes imposed. Roman rule brought stability, but also unrest. During this period, one of history's most influential figures walked its streets. Jesus of Nazareth arrived in Jerusalem in the early 1st century CE. His teachings, trial, and crucifixion here would shape world history for millennia. For Christians, Jerusalem became forever intertwined with the story of salvation. Tensions with Rome escalated. In 70 CE, after a major revolt, Roman legions under Titus besieged Jerusalem. The Second Temple was destroyed. Flames consumed sacred courtyards. Survivors were scattered across distant lands. The city was devastated once more. And yet, it was not erased. The Romans rebuilt it as Aelia Capitolina, a Roman-style city with temples, forums, and colonnaded streets. Jewish presence was restricted. Pagan shrines rose where earlier sanctuaries had stood. But the memory of Jerusalem's past could not be erased from human consciousness. Pilgrims, historians, and believers continued to speak its name. Centuries passed. Empires shifted. In the 4th century CE, the Roman Empire adopted Christianity under Emperor Constantine. His mother, Helena, traveled to Jerusalem and ordered the construction of churches at sites associated with Jesus' life. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre rose as one of Christianity's holiest landmarks. Jerusalem became a center of Christian pilgrimage, attracting visitors from across Europe, Africa, and Asia. Then, in the 7th century, another transformation arrived. In 638 CE, Muslim armies peacefully entered Jerusalem under Caliph Umar ibn al-Khattab. Rather than destroying the city, he preserved its holy sites and granted protections to religious communities. Soon after, Islamic architecture reshaped the skyline. The Dome of the Rock was constructed atop the Temple Mount, its golden dome gleaming above the city. Nearby rose Al-Aqsa Mosque, destined to become Islam's 3rd holiest site. Now Jerusalem belonged simultaneously to 3 great faiths: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Few cities in the world carried such layered, sacred meaning. But sacredness did not bring peace. In 1099, European crusaders stormed Jerusalem during the First Crusade. After a brutal siege, they captured the city and established a Christian kingdom. For nearly a century, Crusader rulers controlled Jerusalem, fortifying its walls and churches. Yet their hold was temporary. In 1187, Muslim leader Salah ad-Din, known in the West as Saladin, defeated Crusader forces and reclaimed the city. Unlike earlier conquerors, he allowed many residents to remain and restored Islamic governance while preserving Christian holy sites. Once again, Jerusalem changed hands, but endured. Centuries of shifting rule followed. Mamluks governed, then Ottomans. Under Ottoman rule beginning in 1517, Jerusalem became part of a vast empire stretching across 3 continents. Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent rebuilt the city walls in the 16th century, the same walls that still stand today, encircling the old city with imposing stone gates and towers. Life inside those walls continued much as it had for generations. Merchants traded spices, fabrics, and ceramics. Pilgrims prayed. Scholars debated theology. Bells rang. Calls to prayer echoed. Footsteps crossed the same narrow streets, worn smooth by centuries of passage. Jerusalem was never static. It was always evolving. By the 19th century, the Ottoman Empire weakened, and European powers increased influence in the region. New neighborhoods appeared outside the old walls. Railways connected the city to coastal ports. Foreign consulates, missions, and schools emerged. Jerusalem slowly entered the modern world while still carrying its ancient soul. In 1917, during World War I, British forces captured Jerusalem from Ottoman control. The British Mandate period introduced new political structures, infrastructure, and tensions between communities. The city stood at the crossroads of rising national movements, religious identities, and global diplomacy. Then came the mid-20th century, a turning point that reshaped Jerusalem once again. In 1948, after the end of British rule, and the creation of the State of Israel, war broke out. Jerusalem became divided between Israeli and Jordanian control. Barriers split neighborhoods. Families were separated. The city that had once symbolized unity for believers became a line of division. In 1967, during the Six-Day War, Israel captured East Jerusalem. The city was unified under Israeli administration, though its political status remains one of the most debated issues in modern geopolitics. Even today, Jerusalem stands at the center of international discussion, diplomacy, and deeply held convictions. Yet beyond politics, beyond borders, beyond headlines, Jerusalem remains something older than any modern state. It is a city of memory. Walk its streets at dawn, and you hear languages from every continent. Stand near its ancient stones, and you touch surfaces shaped by Roman chisels, Ottoman masons, and Crusader builders. Listen carefully, and you hear layers of history speaking at once. The same hills that saw shepherds in antiquity now overlook crowded neighborhoods. The same valleys that once echoed with caravans now carry the hum of modern roads. The past has never left this city. It lives within it. Jerusalem has been conquered more than 40 times, destroyed and rebuilt repeatedly, revered and fought over, loved and mourned. Few places on earth have endured so much and still remain standing. From Bronze Age settlement, to royal capital, to sacred sanctuary, to imperial province, to contested crossroads, to global symbol, Jerusalem was never finished. It was always becoming. If you stand there today, beneath its stone arches, beside its ancient walls, among pilgrims whispering prayers, you are not just visiting a city, you are stepping into thousands of years of human story layered into one place. Jerusalem is not only a location on a map, it is a living chronicle, and its story is still unfolding.